Asalaamu calaykum waraxmatullaahi wabarakaatu walaalayaal kusoo dhawaada waa walaalkiina maxamed afduub janaalka cripto ku taajir amaatadan waxaa rabaa inaan dan ka series ku noqono we look at BTC BTC only insha Allah and probably even BTC dominance haddii aad fiirino chartka dhinaca technicalka aan aadno kadib insha Allah waxaa u gudbayaa wax yariis dhinaca fundamentalka so previously sida hore ugu soo hadalnay waxyaalahaneeto it's kind of weekly based weekly chart haddii aan ka noqono gadaala u noqono waa ogyahay qoraal ay ugu qoran qoraalkaneeto I kind of love it to keep it waxaan jeclaa inaan iska sii haasto oo seize my target iyo meelaha aan ka rajeynayo aan ka filayo inuu ka gaarayo and so forth tan hadda aan fiirino waxaa ognaanay hore ugu soo hadalnay waxay tahay waa inverse head and shoulder kaseeto weli woo is haastaa it has not shown a wax la yiraahdo a negation of invalidation of inverse head and shoulder ay tahay ilaa hadeertaan markii labaad waaye oo BTC haddii aan ku noqono dailyga oo lasoo daadinayo if you look at the daily at least wuxuu soo jabsaday made a some kind of this kind of a rectangular pattern kaneeto oo samaystay a breakdown oo sameeyey however it's always best to have zaid some kind of a three touches like at least wuxuu samaystay a minimum one touch two touch and then hadhowtin wuxuu samaysan doonaa another touch touchka saddexaad either breakout ku noqonay ama waxyar uu kasoo noqonay and then si fiican u jabsan doonaa on the upside marka u socdo on the downside ka asigana it would also would be really waa mid perfect scenario perfect example oo yahay breakdown kiiska when you have like 1 and 2 and then now you have the third one who soo noqday breakdown ayuu u samaystay and now you had another retest fursad kale ee ku ahayd oo another opportunity marka uu soo galay intuu ku soo noqday oo another short sell lagu sameynayo the target still remains the same targetka waxaa waaye 100,000 this is just level by level marka aad fiirinaysid daily wise as a target so the one thing cautious aan rabaa inaan ku noqdo oo aan iska sii fiiriyo oon kusii sugo waxaa waaye this neckline kaneeto the neckline kan hadeertaan aan u jeedno waa lasoo baroway it kind of retested so either waxay u noqon doontaa several types of breakouts either waxay u noqon doontaa a retest and then hore u soco ama waxay noqon doontaa hard retest which is up to the 100,000 bahalkaaseeto 100,000 retest and then meeshaas inuu ka laabto oo kor sii aado they call it a hard retest the most important part is meeshaan inuusan jabsanin the 98 kaneeto ama 99 whatever this neckline uu ku fadhiyo the right shoulder meeshuu ku fadhiyo once it breaks that then this inverse and hurdle or shoulder kadan it becomes invalidated target kaneeto wuu isbedelayaa you have to find another chart pattern oo target kale aad ka raadinaysid once markaa fiirinaysid dhinaca chartingka so one more time haddii aan ku celiyo waxaa waaye you have a neckline your neckline wuxuu kugu fadhiyaa 109,150 this is kind of a area waaye so exactly not this price price kan 100% kan ma ahan but at least it's sitting in this area as far as the neckline meesha kasoo qaatan waa kana this area aad u jeedid BTC laba jida u banaan in oo dailyganeeto oo it negates the daily oo hore meeshaan oo ka noqdo that this neckline becomes like the tested ama in or hard retest or sameeyo eventually that the target becomes the daily dhinaca dailyga targetkiisa 100,000 but definitely you don't want to go below your right shoulder neckline haddii right shoulder neckline kaaseeto la aado, it's going to target 91,177 or at least 92,000 meelahaaseeto. That's your next target. Markuu kan soo jabsado, break below this and close below this waaye, then that's a good confirmation oo ku dhihi doono maybe wuxuu aadaya kor, wuxuu aadaa pull up yiri soo samaysana, and then it's going to break down and come and test this. So right now aniga really my target stays the same, has not changed. However, I would love to see dhinaca on baalkaneeto inuu kor oo meeshaan oo ka noqdo, but you never know. You just waxaad trade garaynaysaa waxaa waaye, you just trading your charts and saying, hey, this is where I see it's going. Laba fursad waaye, fursadaaneeto dhinaca seelka haddii aad iskugu sii diyaarisay aad kusoo gashay great, oo inta ku imaanaysid aad buy ku sameynaysid waa fursad cusub, waa neckline oo kugu imaan doona 109,000 kaaseeto, and then at least you are putting a stop kaaseeto wuxuu kugu noqon doonaa wherever percentage kaad uu kugu yahay, but you want to put a stop exit kaaseeto below the waxa la yiraahdo the neckline, probably 105 or 106,000 depending on adiga how confident you are. You intaad diyaar aad tahay oo aad isleedahay stop loss kaas ayaa iskaaga ilaalinaya. The target or the inverse head and shoulder stays the same. It's right here, up here, 139 up to 143 inshallah. However, when I'm looking at the turn, I'm looking at this daily ganeto I'm fiirinayo is what I'm trading. So my daily was 119 entry, and wuxuu ku yahay at least keep holding another entry, wuxuu noqonayaa hedging ee kugu noqonaysaa, so you hedge against these two already. Meeshaan aad faa'iido ku jirtaa oo dhinaca seelka, you are still not losing a lot. Meeshaaneeto haddii oo buy aad ku samaysid oo kor u noqdo, that it does not test this 100, that it invalidates this pattern kaneeto oo ku noqday false breakout, dhinaca false breakout oo noqdo oo then uu kasii laabto, and then probably retest the previous high or make another breakout. So you cannot say 100% meeshaan u socda. What you are trading is waxa chartkaad u jeedid, and you are putting waxaad la dhaho risk management kaadi aad ku sameynaysid. Lastly, still the same, wax isbedel ma leh, waa fursad fiican ee kusoo noqotay inta ee imaaday. The target still stays the same, 100,000. If you like, waxaad ku noqon doontaa seelkaneeta ka sameyne, and then you stay out of the sidelines. Buy ma sameynaysid, and then you just put in a buy meeshaan aad ku sameynaysid 100,000 kaaseeto. You definitely want to hold this as a bulls. This right shoulder kaneeto definitely waa in oosan jabsanin. Haddii oo jabsado, that invalidates the target kaaseeto. Target kaas wuu isbedeli doonaa, and then it has to have a different new target oo noqon doonaa sidii oo chart pattern ee noo soo saari doonto. A break below this wuxuuna gee doonaa haddii 1.27 fib extensionka or 91,100 or the 92,000 area inshallah. So we will see how it plays out, but as right now saa u jeedno waa bleeding sii socdo, and there's going to be more bleeding. Daadasho waa sii socon doontaa. The question is xaguu ka soo noqonaya? Nobody knows. Nobody can tell you, hey, meeshaan uu ka soo noqon doonaa. We are all like just waxaad gashanaysid waxaa waaye your probability gaadi aad badsanaysid, leedahday, hey, aniga meeshaan aan u qiyaastay, meeshaan ayaan u trade gareynayaa, intaan u diray tradekeyga intaan ka galay, and you just let the market do whatever it's going to do, but however, this is a good waxay ku tahay good validation ku tahay. Breakdown retest markuwaad ku sameeyay, and then it came back up again. Retest labaad uu sameeyay, so now it's going down. Meeshaan uu kusoo noqonaya, more likely than not waxaan u badi doonaa aniga in uu jabsa doono that 100,000 kaaseeto. Haddoosan jabsanin what the heck, so what? It's not a huge thing, but waxaa u badsanaya at the very minimum that it's going to have a really hard retest on the neckline kaneeto, intuu hard retest oo sameeyo a fake out ku noqoto dhinaca the bearishka for the bears people to come in and say, oh wow, this thing broke the neckline, or it actually broke the previous support into ahead internet supporter ahead a false breakout oo dan uu kusoo noqday some kind of a support some kind of a sideline inta ahead hadeertan waa ujeednaa support u tahay. So this resistance one time became now a support hadda noqotay and is retesting this support. Highly likely breakdown u noqon doontaa bear trap noqonaysa people to kind of enter short and then suuqa inuu kor u noqdo. And the reason why I say that aan u dhahoyo aan u badinayo dhinaca bear trap ee noqon doonto, it's only because waxaa soo socdo the interest rate cut kaneeto oo September 17th waaye. So wixii September 17th or FOMC meeting waxay iskugu imaadeen iskugu heshiiyeen the economy people adiga kuwa predictions ka sameeyo 95%. Last time wuxuu ahay 96, 1 week ago 86 ay ahayd. Numberkan every time I watch hoosoo aadaa intay u bateen, so hadda 95% waa la iskugu raacsan yahay. maantadaneeto kor hoos wax yar usoo dhacay. One day ago it was 96, but it kept going up from the previously 86 kan iyo 90 gan uu soo dhaafay. So we are above the 90% ka korayna that at least there's going to be 25 basis points in suuqa oo la soo jari doono. When we compare that probability ga afirino September ka dhaqaaqno afirinayno October it's going up, there's 50% increase, and November waxa way 47%. So this is a good number to watch. Marka FOMC meeting laga baxo, see what happens in this number. Does it go up, does it come down? 50-50 may yihiin. You want this number at least to be very high inuu aado in the 70s on the 80s. markaas ogaa karnaa in October asigana la jari doono. We know now September in la jari doono. Well, the question is, before September in la jarin meelahan mu sii fadhi doonaa, sidelines kan mu samee doonaa haddii laba mid u noqoto. So this is what's known September kaneeto badnaanta dhinaca BTC zaid waxaa lagu yaqaanay haddii aan chatkaaseyto aan soo raadiyo aan heli karo intaan isoo dhigaya. So let's look at this thing. September waxaa loo yaqaanay hadeertan weli waa ujeeda August it closed on a red. August waxay noqotay red noqotay 2025. 2017 haddii aan fiirino August used to be a green market. 2013 August used to be a green market. waxaasa u fiirino waxaa waaye after the halving, this is the first time the halving post halving kaneeto 2024 halving 2024 ahay post halving la dhahaa. August waxay noqotay red waa markii ugu horeyso oo isbedelay. Also you can look at 2020 2021 waa kana it ends up closing on a green. So and we know hadeertan this post halving waxyaalo badana isbedelay. midda koowaad isbedeshay waxay noqotay that it has seen an all-time high prior to the post halving kaseto all-time high inuu sameysto, and then 2025 ka post halving marka la imaaday that it continued to make another high. So waxaa hadda ku jirnaa August wuxuuna tusinayaa on the green side 2% up oo yahay from the previous from the previous time or so kacay. So in September it's up 2%. Do we know that if it's going to close on a green? When this thing closes in a green September, that means this entire 2025 waxyaalihii oo 2020 ama 2021 lagu garanayay iyo 2014 lagu garanayay iyo 2017 lagu garanayay way isbedeleen. So that tells you history ganeeto suuqa historyga is not actually kind of repeating itself. Ama history ganeeto no longer has no value amal. The amount of value was so yarade that things are changing, that the history it has less impact on the market and itself. So now we are waiting for the Q4. Q3 waxa ujeednaa on BTC 3.39% up inuu yahay which is kind of equivalent to last year wuxuu ahaa haddii fiiriso 0.96 2017 haddii aan imaadno 2017 waa ujeednaa 80% oo ahay 3%. So liquidity-ga volatility-giisa wuu soo yaraanaya as we go by the years. 25% oo ahay into 2021. So you can see a lot of waxa isbedelayo dhinaca liquidity volatility wax yariis hoos u soo dhacay compared to the previous post halving kaaseeto aan ka hadlayo. So waxaa noo hartay September aan weli ku jirnaa maanta afarteeday tahay job data badan soo socdo. Yes, there is going to be some kind of a sell off ka dhacaya. However, there is a likelihood that there's one scenario is a break below, and the other scenario waxa waa in oo sameeyo some consolidation, meelahan uu iska joogo that consolidation kaasoto. So I mean, when you go back haddii hal mar ku noqdo, when you go back to September yaashii lasoo dhaafayay, even though that they closed 2017 kaneeto, even though that they closed on a 7% decrease, year 2021 wuxuu ahay 7% decrease uu ahay, and 2013 1% decrease. This 7% kaneeto sell off oo yahay, it's still a consolidation. meel oo yani dhaqdhaqaaqiisa oo dhaqdhaqaaqay dhaqdhaqaaq badan maysan ahayn, way daadanaysay, but daadashadiisa it was some kind of a consolidation ahead. Eventually intuu imaado kor u aaday, intuu imaado kor u aaday, yani laba meel oo saan u samaystay, it came here, came here, came here. So it was basically here. So that 7% is from here ila inta la xisaabinayo that it actually last, if you look at from month to month haddii aan fiirinayno. Let's go to month to month. Let's do this. So we are looking at month to month. So month to month wakana, it's still up 1%. August na ujedna in 6%. So you might see that as red iris, but it's within a box. So probably come back down to 100,000 kaneto. Month to month kaneto 100,000 or 103 kanet melahaseto, and that is what probably will get you your green your red market ko September lagasugaye, and inshallah we are hoping and anticipating a rate cut. That rate cut seto, it's actually good for the suqa on the long term, not for the short term kaneto in the next maybe bishan akujurno faido weyn asiga u qabto male. However, today the other show, and probably tomorrow I kind of believe that asigan inu daadasho kale ay ka dhici doonto. I'm not saying we're dhici doonta, but there is a highly probability beritona iidan dhici doonto daadasho ay ka dhici doonto. Haddaysan ka dhicin, it's a great news. So lastly, dhinaca chatka technical haddii aan ka wareegin, what expectation is 100,000 is the next target. But you have to break this target 109 kaneto, break below this. So it's always step by step. Had the digging, has horumarin, even though this is your target kadi, has hordafin. So this is the first target, inshallah. You break this, you are targeting 100,000. It will be a very good entry on a pullback or the suqa measure or kaso noqon doono. Break below that is waxatan dhibaatada ay leedahay, and the reason why I say undahoyo meeshaas uu kasoo noqonayo, it will be the best scenario is because rate cut-kii soo socdo, and we are anticipating that suqa in, or at least it will ease. Waxay u fududeynaysaa dadka deemanka kala qaadanaya iyo bangiyaasha deemanka kala qaadanaya iyo shaqayaasha oo shaqo lagu soo darayo oo fudaa doonto. This, if you now go to kun ani keeno dhinaca haddii la fiiriyo dhinaca fundamentalka, we are looking at today ADP. ADP waxa waaye it is the private sector employment waaye, dhinaca private sector ka waaye. It's not the public sector ka national bahalka laga hadlayo job data iyo waxaaseeto waaye dhinaca private sector ka. So when you're looking at ADP, ADP wuxuu kuu sheegayaa nothing else than the employment situation that's happening in the private sector. waxay asiga iyo dhinaca laga hadlayo allahumma ista'an publica waa kala gooni. The public uses waxa la yiraahdo surveys. So marka publica for example the Fed is soo saaraan hey non payroll form waxay noqotay this last time waxay ahayd I think 170 something ahead. I have a data for it waa fiirinayna. They use waxa la dhaho surveys. So kambaniyasha surveys ay buuxiyaan waxay dhahaan halahan dadaan naga tagnay, halahan shaqaan abuurnay, shaqala dadkaana naga dhintay, dadkaana shaqada ka gudbay, halahan ummada dalaacday, that kind of stuff. But ADP iyaga ma isticmaalaan surveys, but they kind of use their systemkooda ay isticmaalaan as far as like payments ka income ka qofka la siinayo sida ay dadka ay ku helaan hey this is my income. marka haddii waxaa xasuustaa private sectorka markaa ka shaqey jiray waxaa xaasi jiray this was used to you log in ku siinayaan. So waxaa kugu soo dhacay paycheckgaadii. When you resign meeshaasaa lagaa saarayaa. When somebody gets hired intaa lagu soo darayaa. So all that data wuxuu ka imaanayaa these people. So the ADP employment kaneeto dhinaca the private sectorka, it's saying that the private sector employment increased 54,000 jobs. That is very little. 54,000 jobs haddii la fiiriyo compared to the expectation oo laga sugayo. The consensus I believe it was a lot higher than the 54,000. So even though that it increased bahalka la dhahayo that waxay ku soo dareen suuqa 54,000, this 54,000 kaneeto way kala jijibinayaan hadhooti. waxay ku dhahayaan industrygii waxaa ku soo darnay goods 13,000, natural resources, service provider. Oh my god, oh my, this is crazy. The service provider wuxuu noqday 42,000 ka waran. A lot of service, yeah. So waxaa yaraanayo dhinaca the actual hard laborkii ayaa hoos u dhacay. So compared to wixii laga sugayay the forecast wuxuu ahay 75,000 jobs in August lagu daro. So that tells you the unemployment key is increasing. So we have an increase in the unemployment private sector. Then waxaa ujeedaa the annual pay was up 4.4%. waxaan ay ku dhahoyaan that the annual pay ganeto it's going 4.4% up is because of adjustment to CPI inflation data. Waa annual pay is the income, waa payrollka dadka lacagta jeebkooda la gelinayo, the consumers or the employees ayaa waxaa loo increase gareeyay their income. They've lost people, they increased jobs, meaning hey we've opened halahana fursadana hana, and we also had to add. So 54 less than anticipated, unemployment ka wuxuu u socdaa hoos, and you're giving people more money. halihii dadka ku haray ayaa income-kooda ayaa kor u kicisay. You only did that because of the CPI dhibaatada ee kusoo keentay inflation kaneeto meesha uu ku wado. And this is another reason why the government or the federal wants to come out in waxay rabaan in ka bixiyaan ku dadaalaan the interest rate cut or September oo dhici doono. One of its reasons oo yahay. So when we go from there and this ADP ganeto, it's a good indicator because mostly ADP comes before the private sector wuxuu soo baxaa before the public sector. So akhbaartan ayna siinoyaan wuxuu soo baxaya before the non-payroll formka dhinaca the public sector. So the unemployment for the let's go and look at the scheduled releases. So this is today this is here it is wuxuu soo bixi doonaa berito jimcada the 5th employment kaneeto. So all the NFP waa the dhinaca publica non-farm payrollka wuxuu soo bixi doonaa berito. This is coming out tomorrow, 8:30, August 5th. I can tell you right now that is below expectation. In below expectation in the only reason why aniga saas the public is the private key naftar kiisa came below expectation. Private waxaa laga sugayay 75,000 jobs employment in lagu soo increase gareeyo, but it came below expectation. Waxay noqotay 54,000. You know, it's really crazy that the expectation ka meeshan kusoo darin their page code, you know, on their news. So they just highlighted and showed 54,000. You have to go to their PDF coda or even like, you know, go find out what was the expectation caseto. So we knew that Balkan in Hosu so die, and that gives me some kind of a like, hey, intuition is hoyo that asigane the unemployment ka the of the US or the non-farm payroll ka below consensus in noqodono, and that's why udahoyo BTC tomorrow today we will see some red bleeding kaneto will see socodona up to tomorrow. Etahay Friday, and then the market is going to close, and then we're going to go sideways, very weak sell-off, like very weak buy, small traders, retailers, suqa kuso noqodono. So that's how I see this, inshallah, noqodonto. And now, so the job openings of last time, August, or lasota haye, the unemployment stats, the job openings of the labor, the jolts, job opening openings and labor turnover. This is the jolt. This is also another reason why if you look at the market command and you want to speculate, forget the hey, I am going to forget this technical, like, you know, a high breakdown, retest, another sell, into imau, support, maybe breakdown. So dhinaca haddii aad ka fiirinaysid fundamentalka aa leedahay, hey, maxaa sabab u ee maanta baalka suuqa u noqday. When you look at this job data openings labor, last time waxaa la soo saaray, this was July's, right? The July wuxuu soo baxay August. This is an old news, right? Old news waa soo baxay. The number of job openings was little changed ee kuleeyihiin in July. Waa kii August la soo saaray. Like for August wili moosan soo bixin. For August wuxuu soo bixi doonaa tomorrow. So for August wuxuu soo bixi doonaa probably even, I don't know, where is it? State opening, job openings, labor turnover. Waa kana wuxuu soo bixi doonaa 17. wuxuu soo bixi doonaa maalinta FOMC ee hadli doonaan. Maantadaaneeto ama shalay eeta ahayd taariikh 3 waxay ku siiyeen an update. If you looked yesterday and you're like, wait, so there was an update, maxaa isbedelay? Last time wuxuu ku ahay 7.3. This is the August one, or this is the July, but August lagu soo saaray. It's always a month late. However, it doesn't stay consistent, but it changes over time. What is bedela? The waxay ku leeyihiin waxaa bedelmay that the rate of job openings 7.2 million and 4.3% was unchanged. The hiring, dadka shaqada or hire, like there was no people that were getting hired. Even though that the job opening in lagu soo daray suuqa and the non-roll payroll form, meaning like, hey, this is the amount of jobs and suuqa ku soo darnay, they will still show you that they haven't hired. And then there is like 3.3% if you go down, that the revision or kadai, that the June 2025 revision was revised down from 80,000 to 7.4 million. The numbers of hires were revised up to 63,000 to 5.3 million. So the number of job openings for June was revised down by 80,000 to 7.4. The number of hires was revised up by 63,000 to 5.3. Even though that Ekuso Koren, that hey, there was unchanged separation, blah blah blah, and this is what happens. A revision akado. They revised June's and they also revised July. So you have to like also keep coming back and look maxaa isbedelay key negative news kii ahaa hadartan positive moo noqday, and this is only because dada jirto surveys kooda way ka dib dhacaan, so not everybody submits on time. Some people are ka dib dhaco and that delay ayaa nambaradaneeto bedesho. Okay, this is the non payroll form aan ka hadlay, the job openings ka and dhahoyo berito. More likely than not, it's going to be below the consensus, and that's where we will see another bleeding. Dhinaca fundamental ka u leedahay sababo oo suuqa oo u daadanayo. Technical ka retest ku ahead, break below, was soo noqonaya u daadanaya. It's going to go back again to 109. So last time August wuxuu ahay 7,100 meelahan ahead. It's still under revision ku jira, so preliminary waaye inta ku leeyihiin oo August ki soo baxay. September on this day, which is it was okay, tomorrow is soo bixi doontaa Friday. Tomorrow Friday, August 17th. Oh no, tomorrow Friday, November Bismillah, September shanteeda ayay intu kusono inta it will be below expectation. Whatever the number that okay, let's go Google, say, and I know what is the NFP expectation? What's the consensus of hadi afirineno balkaneto dhinaca? Okay. NFP consensus. Afirino consensus. NFP consensus for for August. Waxay iskugu raacsiisay yihiin 2025. Okay. So the August non-payroll consensus job increase is approximately 110 to 120,000, with unemployment rate expected to remain around 4.2 and average hourly earnings to rise moderately. So while another analysis figures cites 142 jobs. When you see this consensus tomorrow, so bihidono, the non-NFP ganet or whatever, last time it was are predicted to have expanded from 73. So last time we were below expectation. And tomorrow you want to see below expectation, below the consensus. This is 110 to 142. So tomorrow buddy that in at least below the consensus. And when that happens, that's why you will see another BTC bleeding. So okay. It could be like, hey, this, if you're looking for a reason, that's your reason. Unemployment key, we are looking at it, it's actually decreasing over time. This unemployment has not been 2% Now we know the Fed, it is nothing else that the private sector employment job increase ka hoso aaday. The berito, the NFP ga, and the PPI, whatever, and the CPI will also be Thursday, inshallah, 11th September. So all these numbers are not looking great. I don't know about the CPI. CPI probably will it's gonna go lower, right? Or maybe unchanged on Qadona. Maybe the core CPI also imadona. Maybe. But if the unemployment is all getting affected, and unemployment key, job openings, people losing jobs, and then payment increase, or adjusting to CPI, it's really horrible. And then that would force these people in a month that hand, hey, we gotta go to the 2%, the CPI. All of those things or hasato, they stopped looking at this, the unemployment rate kaneto, that they are trying to target the CPI data. استعماله يعني لين hey, the 2% is the goal. That 2% hasn't been seen since I don't even see. I don't وحاجات كيسينو وين مانتا is 2005 إلا هدرتان 2% كي ملقاري مانتا دانيتو وحو تاقيها. Let me find it. Not the unemployment rate. Where's the CPI? Ya Allah, حقوها هاي. I was looking at the wrong chart actually. So this is the civilian unemployment rate. The unemployment rate kaneto, that for them is what, sitting at 4.2%. Likely August وحنقدونا unchanged 4.2%. And we see that the unemployment went very high, and that's what they mean by, I think high, the NFP. I think they were talking about it in the headline. And hey, it's going to remain unchanged 4.2, and this is the consensus. So it is 4.2. Key July 4.2 high. The August probably 4.2 unchanged. There's not a lot of changes happening, and this is what the Fed is trying to make a huge difference on. waxaaneeto ujeedada Erwan meesha Erwan maantadan in ay ka bedelaan ayay taagan tahay is this civilian unemployment kaneeto. They want to bring it down to from 4.2 gaseto to kind of have it decrease instead of that it's actually going up. So this was the NFP and kahadlaye that it's going to come below consensus. July 72 something. This data has not been updated. I think wakana this one will have preliminary, really why it's not updated. So looking at their chart itself, basically it's going to come below expectation. Below expectation kaseto at the above the consensus enokoto, that is freaking great for the market. But at the enokoto below consensus or within the consensus is still a red market, and that's what I think is going to happen. And lastly, I want to show you this thing. This is crazy. You know what's crazy? Look at this thing. This is a CPI inflation calculator. The dollar caneto, it's fucking insane. It does not make sense. You had $1,000 last 20, let's put $1,000. $1,000 I will hand me my cousin or my friend, my sister, walashi. Somebody I will have $1,000. 2,000. 25 years a kahastan. Ila other time will so good. And mantadan I will had and they want to pay you back. You know, they want to give you back your money. That 1,000 manta ekuso alien waxay u qalmataa $2,000. So it's basically worthless. It's basically, they didn't give you anything. Waxay ku siiyeen $73. That's what it's telling me. Okay, let me 2000. It's wait, like we're fucked. Let's just go 2020. 5 years ago, had the aqaf demis. I know 5 years ago I need the demi. Ila adartan wega hastan. I know that for sure. They haven't paid me back. Sahibo one day me, and that's when I stopped loaning people out. I was like, God damn it, bro. You know what? I rather think about my future. Cause you know iladertan magasid. So let's say so the $1,000. I know there's one guy, for example, handed me 1,000. So my friend that handed me 1,000 2020, and I'm expecting him to pay me back ila hadirtan mu iso gudin. Let's say month September he wants to pay me back kunkeygi anaka interest ribo dadka ma ka qaadno, right? So let's say what is my $1,000 equal to? That $1,000 oo maanta gacanta iga saaray, it's not equivalent to $1,000. It's way less. Way less. So it's like $800 inuu gacanta iisoo geliyey. $1,000 ahead. If I take what this is telling me, $1,000 in 2021 has the same buying power of $1,252 in 2025. $1,000 oo aan deemiyey 2020 saaxiibkaygii qaaliga oo maanta uu ii guday 5 sano kadib oo i siiyey lacagtaydii, aniga kunkaas haddii aan qaato aan suuqa la aado shaygii aaraw inaan ku gato ma ii awoodo. Waxaan u baahanahay $252 extra si ay ii noqoto kun joogto. Does that make sense? So you are losing your purchasing power. Wallahi wa ajib. I mean, there's a reason why Galadaneto they say, I'm going to charge you interest and it will be adjusted by the inflation. So they are actually not making money from you. They're just getting back their purchasing power. I'm not making a reason to yali ninkan ribor wa ina qaadano, interest or wa ino qaadano. No, I'm just trying to show you from from the perspective of iyaka u isticmaalaan ninkan $1,000 oo ii soo celiyey waxay u qalmataa aniga oo maanta haasto $800. Let's say $800. $800 calculate, it should be $1,000. So for me, 8,000. So $1,000 ninkan deemiyey, I don't want to confuse you guys. $1,000 aan deemiyey hadduu maanta isii lahay $1,200 waa aniga oo haasto $1,000. $200 ku daray, yes, cash ahaan $200 ku daray, bas suuqaaseeto markaan aado aan dhaho caanaha soo iibsanaa, buraan soo iibsanaa, sokoraan soo iibsanaa, sariiraan soo iibsanaa, dharaan soo iibsanaa, daawaan soo iibsanaa, ama diyaaradaan aada waxaan rabaa inaan aado safar, ama raashin aan rabaa blank inaan ka soo cuno. Shay kasto aad rabtid inaad soo gadatid has been adjusted. Waxay u qalmataa adigoo haasatid $1,000, laakiin jeebkaada waxaa kugu jiro $255. It does not make sense. Wallahi, that's so bad that the purchasing power of CPI over time loses power. Look at this. That's why if you go to the charts, look at the releasing chart. The CPI over time. The purchasing power over time loses. That cuntadii kacday. Energy probably came down. Waxaa kacay major categories, whatever it is. You have to like go look at what major categories is. Waxaa kacay, oh, like things are just going and it's just increasing. It doesn't make sense. So your purchasing power over time for the last 5 years, $1,000 aan wiilka saaxiibkayga aan siiyey waxay u qalmataa $252 maanta. Waa anigo $1,000 oo ii soo celiyey, waxaa haasta anigoo haasto $800. This is why that the people are coming out and they're saying that BTC is here to solve this problem. The problem hadda u jeedno $109 fiirinono is a huge problem in itself, because BTC has been asaa lagu fiirinoya. We are correlating, like there's nothing else aku fiirinosi. But if you were just to look at the core system in itself, the mechanism on itself, wallahi hal BTC lagu deemiyey weligaadi waxaa haasa doontaa 1 BTC. Adoo hal BTC lagu deemiyey, you will still have 1 BTC. adoo ka saartay lacagtan dollarka aad fiirinaysid. What you are looking here is dollar. BTC ma fiirinaysid. 1-to-1 ratio BTC ya tahay. To be able to understand that, it's going to be very hard. Very, very hard. And that's why people are trying to fight $1 inay la dagaalamaan. Wallahi waa cajiib. You know, halaha yara hadlahay, maybe 110 ahead. Waxaa u jeednaa at least wuxuu soo daatay some kind of 0.3% the last hour. So, and the rest are bleeding. Everything else, virtual, everything is bleeding like crap. Wallahi, it's so amazing. Waa fursad soo socoto. Go to dominance. Dominance kaneeto, not a lot. It's actually under support. Ilaa haddeertaan wuu soo jibsalayahay. Ilaa haddeertaan it's still holding on. So altcoin-ka, you still gonna wait. You're still gonna wait. BTC will bleed. This one sideways. BTC a kor imaan doono. BTC, there's actually a melo jabsa doona, and that's why when you're going to see dominance ka asigan inuu soo dhici doono, and BTC nu wadaadanosa, dominance kan wadaadano. Guess what's happening to the altcoin? You can wadaadano yan. And then BTC finds its bottom. Dominance ka finds its bottom. Dominance ka starts doing this. BTC starts going up. Altcoins start going up. That's basically what suqa happens most of the time. I hope inshallah inang video gan halaho yiristan hadlay. It's not what it is. It's actually fucking 47 minutes. It's the longest video. Wanigirali gilina. And best of luck. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It's going to be a while before I post anything else. Because I'm going to go enjoy myself, inshallah. On vacation, I also probably at the end for Sadhelo. One so digi dona, waxaan so digi karo. But it's better than maahan. So the fluctuation ka your liquidity ga waa ujeeda, it's going down over time. It's not this explosive movements. You will always have the opportunity, whether long or short, aad u galaysid. Fursadaas way jirtaa. Asalaamu calaykum waraxmatullaahi wabarakaatuh.